Good morning, it's Rita with Everything Homemade, and this is the third video that we are going to make in a series on how to garden. Now on April 19th, 2020, we planted the tomato seeds, the tomato seeds, the peppers, corn, some herbs in these pots right here. And you see the humidity. You remember me saying about the water droplets? You see how the water droplets are on the plastic and then dripping back down? Now, guess what, you guys? On Sunday, we planted these in the morning. That's when we put up the film. So we have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. This is Wednesday morning. So this is the morning of the fourth day. And we have germination. This is what makes all the difference. The heating pads absolutely makes all the difference in the world. So the first thing that came up was the corn, which to me is no surprise. So we have this container here. Do you see the corn coming up right here? And I don't know if you can see that, but it's right here. So we have this one's corn, this container's corn, there's little sprouts here, and there's one more, can my eye see it? This one here. Right here is coming up. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have Ocean and Orion help me, and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna set the corn up in front of a windowsill. Some really key things to note when you're doing this without grow lights, to have them not really leggy. And what I mean by leggy means that they are coming up and they're going, oh, I gotta grow, where's the light, before they put out their leaves. What you want to do is have them put out those first set of leaves, because if they put out those first set of leaves, then they only grow to X height, instead of being growing and then they fall over. So it's critical that we do this. Now you'll notice that we're using the hashtag gardening with Rita. Join me on Twitter, join me on Facebook. I love to hear from you guys. I like to answer comments, so definitely do that. All the links to everything and how to contact me, how to get a hold of me is in the description box below. You'll notice too, after every video, there is a little blurb of a book. I am also the author of A Heart's Journey. Book 1 is out, and book 2 is coming out in the fall of 2020 this year. So definitely you can enjoy a good read and continue to follow me. So the first step, what we need to do is get the corn in front of a windowsill. Now it's 7 a.m. I'm in northern Canada. Actually, I'm in northern Alberta, Canada. So the sun is just coming up. So we're gonna set up in Ocean's room. So Ocean and Orion, they both have rooms where the sun is very bright in the morning. The morning's the coolest part of the day. Then by noon, we're gonna hit 12 degrees Celsius. Now, I have a catio that isn't really in use right now because of COVID-19. My kitty boarding business got hit hard. If there is no traveling, everyone's in isolation, everyone is quarantined. Guess what happens? No cats. So I got this catio that is east-west side facing, and there's no cats in it. So guess what? Instead of leaving that empty this year, I am going to use it as a greenhouse and a place where my seedling plants can enjoy the sun. It's kind of set up like this. So this is part of the house and this is part of the house. So I got a really nice windbreak, meaning that when I put my seedlings out, they don't get trashed by the wind, which is really critical. They can go out there every day at the most warmest part, enjoy the sun, and get out there and start hardening off immediately. So let's start doing this. So I have my wonderful helpers here. So what do we need? First of all, we need to have something to put these corn plants on. So we have some folding tables here. So I want you to grab one of them for now. as we go, we'll grab more. So Ryan, why don't you grab a folding table there? Ocean, you're gonna grab the corn plants here. If I need to grab one, that'll be fine. So we're gonna take these. There's one right here. Okay, and where's the other one? Okay, so we are up here in Ocean's room. So Orion set it up right here. Okay. Now, when you are doing this with the windowsill, there's a couple things you need to pay attention to. You need to pay attention to the angle of the sun. So, Ocean, show them what the angle of the sun here comes in.
Comes through, comes across my bed and streaks across.
That's right. So where is there an area where there's no sun gonna hit through this window?
Probably more over this.
That's right. So we want to set up more over here on this side of the window. Then we want, okay, let's push it a little bit over this way, get away from the curtain a bit, and then out a little bit. So
we're collapsing it.
Ryan, you gotta get the bottom. There we go. Okay.
How will we get that one on?
Oh, it'll be fine. We can get all three on this on here. Wonderful. So now what we need to do is we need to remove the plastic. Okay. The other seeds won't be that far away, and we really need to remove the plastic for the other sprouts that are coming up. Just watch, you guys, because the plastic will be very, very wet.
Yeah.
Don't drip all over her bed here.
Why not, as you flip it over and grab it, just roll it.
Yeah.
Oh, where's the label here? This is corn. Yeah, mine is still on. How will we keep the label's over that side?
Make sure you don't lose that container, alright?
Yeah.
Okay, so while they're doing this, Brian, I want you to go sit on her bed so you got more room. Okay, so while they're doing this, I'm going to show you something here. So these are the corn sprouts. You notice how this one has angled? It's trying to find the sun. This one here, they're all kind of both angling this way. What I want to do, since the window is facing, Ocean, watch your head there for a second. The window is facing the direction where the sun will come in, coming through this way, hitting the plant here. So what's going to happen is this plant will naturally lift up, okay? Because they want to angle with the sun. So what is critical here to mention is that when you're having to have the plants in front of a windowsill, you need to turn them at least twice a day. Because what's going to happen, Ocean, can you demonstrate being a plant? Can you stand up?
Yeah.
Demonstrate being a plant here for me. If the sun was coming through the window, hitting towards her, which direction are you going to go? The plant's going to go that way. So in the morning, I want to turn you so you are going opposite direction so you want to lean this way, so that when the sun comes in through here, the plant's going to automatically straighten out towards the sun.
So they'll stay straight.
So they'll stay straight. So what you want to do is continuously turn your plants.
Each morning, the opposite way they were before.
That's right. So in the morning, I come up here to check for watering, and then I turn the plants. In the afternoon, I just do this basically breakfast, lunch, and supper. Before breakfast, I turn my plants. Before lunch, I turn my plants the other way, and in the evening, before supper, after supper. And that way, it keeps their stalks nice and small, but also it prevents them from only leaning one way or the other. Okay, so this one here that's leaning is no big deal. You can see that there are little bit of sprouts. This one here is coming. Okay, we got one here, there's another one right here, there's another one here, there's lots coming. Look at that one. Yeah, it's coming here. So this is perfect. And this is why I like the heat pad so much, because I can speed up the germination. So I only have to I can basically go to the bare minimum of time when starting my seeds, and that way, because we don't have a huge house, we've got a lot of area to put these, I only have them in the house for so long. So what we're going to do is I'm going to keep them here until about noon today, and then I'm going to show you something really critical when we move them out into the catio, is what I'm going to call it, my catio greenhouse, because I'm going to talk about hardening off. And this concept is so important, and so many people fail to realize what it is, that they kill tons and tons of plants. So we're going to talk about hardening off in a few hours. So it is around 1 o'clock p.m. So when I filmed this, it was 7 a.m. Now we're 1 o'clock p.m. And you can see outside here, we're in the catio, which I'm going to kind of convert into a greenhouse this year, is that we're looking out actually to the dugout, to the bird coop, to that's the view. And what's really nice is that the sun here warms up this catio so beautifully. Now, Ocean, if you turn around, you'll see what I was talking about by having a wall on this side and then a wall coming on this side here. Okay, so basically this provides a windbreak here, and that's really important for seedlings. Now, if you notice, there's cat litter here because that was my storage over winter for cat litter. Usually I have the outdoor run, as we call it, or catio, open because we are insanely busy with 30 cats usually booked from now until September. But again, because of COVID-19, no one is traveling. Therefore, cat boarding, if you're in dog boarding, you know exactly what I mean, there's no one moving. So instead of leaving this completely empty, I'm going to utilize it until travel happens, and then we pick up once more. So what I've done is, a lot of times I have a blanket here for cats, and I have a whole bunch of other stuff that I take outside, but I'm going to utilize this for now for my plants. Now I'm going to explain to you something that most beginner gardeners have no idea, and that is hardening off. What is it? So I'm going to, bear with me for a second, I'm going to go very, very simply and explain this. Hardening off is when you take a plant from inside environment to the outside environment, or vice versa, from the outside to the inside. And you might want to ask yourself is, what does it matter? Who really cares? You're taking the plant from one environment to the next environment. No big deal. But it is a big deal. The outside air pressure, temperature, everything about it is completely different than the inside temperature, and again, always vice versa. So, for example, if you never ever go outside, you're always inside, you never ever step outside, you are sheltered all the time, you don't feel the wind, you don't have weather on you, you may feel the warmth from the sun from a window, but you don't actually get it on your face, you don't actually really feel it. But let's say you go outside for the first time in your life. You step outside and you're like, whoa, what just happened? Oh my goodness, what is that? My hair is blowing. Oh my goodness, the sun is hitting me. And you start to sweat because your body's not used to it. Or you start to get really cold because you're like, oh my goodness, it's outside, and it's totally different. So I'm a little bit dynamic, but you get the point, is that if you take a plant from the outside and you go to the inside, suddenly the plant's like, whoa, what happened? You know, there's no temperature change, everything's so still. And what happens to the plant is that it suddenly droops. You know, if my arms are leaves, it kind of goes, ugh, I can't handle this. Either I'm sweating, or I'm too cold, or the wind is hitting me. And what we call wind burnt plant is when the wind whips through the plant and you start getting these white streaks on the leaves and totally destroys leaves. It's like somebody took the scissors and chopped little knobs in the leaves, or sliced right through it, and the leaves are drooping and there's white streaks and the plant looks absolutely horrific. And you're like, what just happened? Well, you took the plant from the inside environment to the outside environment, and you just left it in the elements, exposed to what is outside too quickly. So, how do you deal with that? And it is very simple, thank goodness, is that 2 tricks. One, I wouldn't consider myself a lazy gardener. That's not quite the word I want. But I'm a gardener of simplicity, okay? I do the least amount of steps possible to get the result that I need. So maybe that's a smart gardener. Hey, Ocean, what other word, right?
I don't know.
I don't want to go through all these extra steps if I don't really have to. And what I discovered, all these tricks, is what I discovered myself, mostly through accidents and complete failures. I got back up and tried something different. So what I discovered, because we live in a small house, and when I was gardening in town, we were 7 people under 750 square foot house, very tiny, so you can't have all these plants in the house. I literally sometimes had a jungle. My kids were like, where's the window? Can't see it because mom has tomato plants. But what happens is that my one trick is this. As soon as the plants come up, such as the corn, for example, I already put it outside for the warm afternoon. Now it is plus 10 degrees Celsius. It is cloudy and it is sunny, which is perfect for hardening off because the plants don't get full sun. They get a mixture of sun and cloud, which won't burn their new leaves off, and they get a bit of the pressure, the air pressure outside. So as soon as my plants come, and that's why I plant like to the last week possible, I try to plant it through the weather. So take this and take it and use it to your climate. So whenever you start getting warm, start your plants and get them outside immediately when they come up. These are still germinating. So you need to start them when they come up, take them out. They just came up this morning. I'm gonna take them out for the whole afternoon for 4 to 5 hours, as long as the weather stays okay. Cloudy, sunny is perfect. Then I'm gonna bring them in at supper time. I'm gonna put them in front of Ocean's window until tomorrow morning again. Tomorrow morning, as I'm gonna wait until noon, I'm gonna take them out for that afternoon and I'm gonna put them in at supper. And I'm gonna completely repeat this for the next 2 weeks, probably. As the weather warms up, as these corn plants grow, I'm going to increase the time that they spend outside by 1 hour. But I'm always going to start at noon because it's quite cool in the morning here in northern Alberta. We can be still 0 degrees. So I'm going to wait till noon. Then I'm going to add an hour, add another hour, add another hour. But I will never keep them outside completely until probably middle of May. So for the next 4 weeks, they're going to be going back and forth, back and forth. And as my other plants start to germinate, the second that I see them germinating, they're going to get moved either to Orion or Ocean's room, set up in front of the window because they're east-west facing, and I'm going to follow the same procedure. And this goes from tomato plants to cucumber plants to melons to zucchini to corn. Every single plant that I start will have this process. That way, when I'm ready for the garden, all my plants are baked, they're hardened off, and ready for the elements. So that is a very big time-saving concept. If you do not do this, and you have mature plants that have lived, let's say, a month or 2 inside the house, this is how you harden off. You take I'm going to use a tomato plant for an example. You take your baked tomato plant, okay? So it's like nice container, baked plant. You take your plant, you put it outside 1 hour. You do not put it straight out into the sun. You do not put it out into the wind. So what I would do if I had something, if you do not have a corner like I have right here, Get 2 boards. So let's say you set up 2 boards. You want a board like something like this. So your plant is right here. So I would put this plant kind of where my vent is right here. I would put the plant right there for 1 hour. So you do that for about 5 days. Then you increase it every day for 1 more hour, taking your plant further and further from that corner till you come over here where the wind can get to it on either direction, where the sun can fully hit. Now what that does, it prepares the plant for the elements. Otherwise, if you don't, you're going to have it wind burnt, you're going to have it drooping, you're going to basically, very high possibility of killing your plant. But if you gradually increase it to the outside, you can harden them off. Make sure your plants are staked. If they are a big tomato plant or not staked, the slight wind, even the wind of something like that, very light, can throw a plant totally into shock if they're not used to the outside. So we're not even that windy today, but even this light breeze that's going through can actually harm your plant if it is not hardened off. So this also concept goes with nurseries. If the plant is in the greenhouse in a nursery and never outside, you want to harden them off. This concept is crucial. I got tons of questions before. Oh my goodness, why is my plant drooping? And then I ask again, I go, well, where did you get it from? Where was it grown? And 9 out of 10 times, the person took the plant from somewhere or from the inside and took it directly into the sun, into the wind, or either planted it right into the garden without taking this proper hardening off procedure. You want to do this 2 weeks before you plant out. Get them ready. So that is why I do this. I start right away from the very beginning so my plants are strong. They're used to the elements. They understand what the sun is on their leaves, and they are ready to go. So it saves me a lot of time, and I get to put my plants out longer. So they adjust faster when they're small. Also, when they're little tiny like this, they adjust really fast to the elements where they start getting their strong stems. And that's what you want. So this here is really important, and I hope this really helps to understand what hardening off is. If there's something that I did not explain clearly enough, shoot me a comment. I'll try to re-explain it again to you, or ask a specific question about it. I will be happy to help you, because this is critical in you being successful gardener. So that is it for today. Everything again is in the comments. Every link to get a hold of me is in the comments. And I will see you probably in another couple of days as more and more things are going to start germinating, and I'll continue giving my tips and tricks to you. See you on the next video.